Good afternoon. My name is Shannon Sims, and I am here to do a little bit of a guided meditation. And actually today, I just want to kind of take you in and help you come to a place to focus on what I will term as self-talk. Self-talk is what I say to myself. And a lot of times we say things and we don't realize the significance of what we're saying and how it changes our life in very radical ways. And taking a moment to figure out what are some of the words that you use on a regular basis to create a pattern in your life. Now, what do I mean by that? If you use certain words, and those are your words, you're going to find that your life has a tendency to follow a lot of the words that I say, a lot of the phrases that I say, and the things that I say to myself and about life, whether or not I think it's true or not, make a huge difference. It's interesting to me. I can go to a function and I'll go with a couple of friends and we all see very different things. Normally I always have a tendency to see the good in everything, and sometimes people have a tendency to see the bad, or this was boring, or those people did this and this, and they point out a lot of the negative things that are going on or taking place. And by doing that, we're always setting ourselves up to be and live a certain way. When we think that everything in life is a catastrophe, life gets to be very hard. If I think everybody is out to get me, or everyone is, excuse my expression, going to screw me, then I go into life with a very different perspective, with a very different attitude. If I think life is always beautiful, then I go into everything with a different attitude. If I think that life is an adventure, I go into it with this newness and freshness, like a relationship. But the words that I use to myself, the words that I use to other people, are very significant in my life and my life pattern. And so what are the words that you use? You want to change your life. Start by changing your words. And that means figuring out what are the things that I say a lot. And if you're not sure, you can, and maybe even diary, and try to figure out what are the words that you use on a regular basis. I have a tendency, I know sometimes, to say, oh, I'm exhausted. And I become more exhausted by using the term exhausted, which makes them, makes it challenging. And I actually become more tired the more I think about being exhausted. Instead, maybe I could just think, I need to close my eyes for a moment. I just need some deep breaths. I need to take a pause. If I am in a lot of pain and I always say, oh my God, I'm in agony. Am I really in agony? And if I'm, even in a lot of pain, can I use a different phrase, a different metaphor, a different word to change how I feel? And if we start realizing that our words are like streets and street names, and I'm actually going down this path, do I want to go down agony road? Do I want to go down, catastrophe road? Do I want to go down life is evil, life is horrible, they're all out to get me, I feel so, angry, he enraged me? The words that I use are very powerful. And the metaphors that I use, this is a nightmare, this is a catastrophe, I am in agony, all the different things that I say to myself paint a very different picture of what my life is going to be like. And those are the roads that I'm actually heading down. And so I can have the feeling about something, but I can change the verbiage. It's just like if you're in a business deal and there's, 3 or 4 different people, everyone's going to have a very different reaction of how that went. And some people might be enraged at a situation, and another person might be really upset, but not over the top. And then someone else might be calm and say that was, that was not pleasant. Which I know sounds like, a weird thing to say, but when I start changing what I say in life, my life takes on a very different meaning. So I'm going to encourage you for the next few days to journal and just start to catch what are the words and the metaphors that you use on a regular basis. And sometimes when I'm trying to think of them, I have a really hard time thinking of them. But maybe some words. Allow these words to be both good and not good words. I use the word amazing a lot. And I notice that's regular words that I say all the time. So kind of figuring out what are your words. And I just want you to close your eyes for a moment and start to breathe in through your nose, out through your nose. And notice your in-breath and how the body comes down. And then notice the out breath. And I want you to stay with the breath for just a little bit. See if you can soften the body, soften the space around the neck. Maybe the tongue comes into a neutral position so it's not touching the roof of your mouth. Allow the jaw to relax, allow the ears to relax a little. Notice the position in which you're sitting and make sure this is a comfortable one. And make sure your breath is comfortable. It's not forced. The inhale is not a struggle. The exhale is not a struggle. Allowing for some balance between the inhale and the exhale. But again, keeping this more relaxed. See if the elbows get a little heavy. The hands might go skyward. And then I want you to go into the intelligence of your inner being and ask yourself, what are some of the words that I use on a regular basis? And not the words that you use when you're on your good behavior, but the words that are a repetitive, habitual pattern in your life. And not necessarily just looking for the bad ones, but also look at some of the good words or phrasing that you use. And these phrases have a tendency to become metaphors for our life. If everything in my life is a catastrophe, my life becomes somewhat of a catastrophe. If my life is an adventure and my thoughts are in that every situation is an adventure, then my life manifests itself as more of an adventure. And so just being in your space and recognizing, what do I say to myself and to others on a regular basis? Feel wounded, victimized, out of control. And how can I use words that are still honest to my feelings without giving my life that guide, without going down that road? It's not that I want to lie to myself, and there's a level of honesty. But again, I can be very tired and not give in to exhaustion. But know that I need to step back and maybe even say, instead of, I am so exhausted, I need to step back. I'm stupid. I'm determined in learning. Finding a way that's still honest with yourself, but giving yourself a better road to go down. And just start to notice if there's any area of the body that when you discover some of these words, that you might feel tighten up. You might feel a little bit of a tensing in. And sometimes we put past wounds and emotions in points and areas of our body. And if you have a phrase or a word that is repetitive in your life, notice if there's an area that you feel a little tighter, maybe even a little bit of discomfort or pain. And then maybe finding a better word that still feels right, but doesn't defeat you. And then maybe repeating that non-defeating word or phrase while breathing into any of the spaces in your body that tightened up. And this is sometimes a way in meditation to not only correct a pattern, but find the location that the pattern has resided. And if nothing is coming to mind, that's okay. Just go with the breath, but pay attention to the language, the words that filter in and out of your head. And notice if these are words that build you up or break you down. And then as you're breathing in and out, maybe saying, some of the more building up words or phrases, or the things that you want to see in your life. I am healthy. And even if you're battling with health issues, it doesn't mean that every part of your body is unhealthy. And so saying these things is not dishonest. Maybe talking to the areas of your body that are the healthiest. I feel good. Even if you're in pain, focusing on the areas of your body that might not be in pain and talking to those. And the more I start to recognize all the good areas of my body, I am intelligent. I might struggle with learning. I might have areas where I don't feel I'm as smart, but there's always some area that we're really intelligent. And focus on that area of your life. I am beautiful. I am handsome. Focus on that area in your life. And saying these things are never untrue, because we all have an area that we excel. I might not feel pain. I might be beautiful. I might be intelligent. I might be energized. And as you focus on the areas of your body that feel these, you're going to start to know that they grow. And they start to grow outward into the areas that need some help, need some work. And so in our society, we're in a habitual pattern of focusing on the negative and not the positive. And this takes dedication, it takes some practice, and it takes awareness in what are the patterns that I'm creating for myself. Observe this pattern of saying your new phrasing, your new words. And I want you to just say that over and over to yourself. Streets, the destinations you want to go down. Changing your life experiences means changing the experience as I define it in my life. And so I have to see, how am I defining my life experiences? And once I change that, I can change all the experiences in my life. And just breathing into these spaces that maybe you've created. And starting to feel these words, these positive metaphors, these phrases in your life wash over you like a blanket. Comforting, hugging, nurturing, building up every cell in your body. Knowing that I never fail. I learn, I evolve, I change. I breathe in life. I breathe out what no longer serves me. I breathe in opportunity, hope, love. I breathe out what is no longer useful in my life. And just keep this pattern of breathing for just a little longer. Noticing how it feels in your body. Maybe noticing a smile or anything coming into your face, a brightness in your eyes, even if the eyes are closed, a tingle on your skin. And when you're ready, just maybe start bringing your awareness back to the movements of your fingers. And softly open your eyes. And for the next week, I would recommend taking a journal and writing down the words that come into your vocabulary the most. These are the words and phrases that you have a tendency to say, and all of us have one or two that are in our regular language. And if we're not sure, and you can ask without defense, maybe even asking your family and friends, what are some of the things that I say on a regular basis? And notice if this is guiding your life, if this is leading your life in a certain direction. And if it is, if it's something that you don't want to add in, if you don't want to continue go down that road, then find a way to change those words, change those phrases to something that is still honest for you, but not negative. Not a place that I don't want to be. Change your words, change your life. Your words are more powerful than your actions, because your words are a repetitive reminder of how you deserve to live. Your actions might periodically change from your words, and that is important, but it's not always honest. We need to find the words and phrases that build us up. So find those power words that you can use. Find those power phrases. I feel amazing. I feel energized. I feel hopeful. I feel grateful to be in this life. I am curious about everything that's going to happen in my future. And you might be a little apprehensive. You might think that things look a little bleak, but if you start using better phrasing, you're going to notice that things don't bother you as much. It's not that things don't go wrong. They don't have the same significance. And so one situation, somebody might feel on a scale of 1 to 10 on an emotional experience. You change your words, you might feel 1 or 2. Somebody else that hasn't changed that might feel a 10 in a really stressful experience. And you're going to live through stresses, but you're not going to let them change you. You're not going to let them control you. And you'll live such a happier life. So diary, if you figure out what your power words are, message me. Please put on some of the words that are negative, some of the metaphors that you found that are negative, and message me, and allow other people to dialogue with you about what they're experiencing as well. And maybe we can all change some of our phrasing and our wording together. All right, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk to you on this beautiful, amazing Monday, this glorious day. I am so grateful to be here and be alive and be talking to you. And I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful week. All right, namaste.